Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Name the dog, Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints?
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my man who continues to make one really big list of things. It's Frank. How are you today?
It is a list that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. How you doing, Tim?
I'm great. That was a great, Shelley, what was her name? Sherry
Lewis.
Sherry Lewis. That was a great Sherry Lewis reference.
God rest her. Yeah.
Indeed. Frank, here on Beer with Geeks, we make outdated references and drink beer. What are you drinking today? Because you already made
that was the outdated reference. Here's the beer.
Yeah.
I am drinking a Sebago Brewing Company Haze Forward New England IPA. It is a delicious, lovely, made in Maine. If the name Sebago didn't give it away. It is made with 5 different kinds of hops and notes of hazy, juicy, and tropical. And I would agree with that assessment.
I know somebody whose dog's name is Sebago. Fun fact.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do they spend a lot of time in Sebago Lake?
Probably.
All right.
One of them's from New Hampshire, if that's helpful. But I don't know. It's just a good name. I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good name. Like a good name, I have a good beer. I have a Porch Rocker, Samuel Adams. Is the season. Limited release only.
We're so back.
Mm-hmm.
We are so back.
It is lemon. Lemon Radler. That's what it says.
Oh yes, a lemon Radler.
Mm-hmm.
Love a Radler.
So lemony, so delicious. I do find that as I get older, Sam Adams just kind of heavy overall, though. It does kind of like sit in your. It just kind of sits in my stomach for a little while.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
man,
that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. Frank, we are here to continue our.
Speaking of things that sit in my stomach,
this list that doesn't end, my friends. It just. I'm trying not to say the words that you said, but it does go on and on.
Like, it does. I mean, 252 really DC characters.
Did really say it best. Dag it. Like,
yeah.
252. We're in the L's.
We're in the L's.
We're ranking the 252 DC characters that are out there from this list. But there's some big contenders in L, as we were saying right before we started recording. L is a really popular letter for comics. So let us get right into it, shall we? If you are tuning in for the first time, we have our S tiers, our A's, our B's, our C's, our D's, and our F's, and our IDKs. We don't know that character, nor do I know. I don't know enough about them to make any kind of decision, so they just go right at the bottom. So far, we do not have any characters that we flat out hate. No
F's. Yeah.
No, a fair amount of D's. We just go, they're a person that exists, but nobody that I loathe the very being of.
Right. It's like, okay, Antiope exists.
Correct. Cool in the movie. That's yeah.
Very cool in the movie.
Very cool in the movie. This is we mostly base our most of it's based off of our feelings from the comics, not from any other form of media, which it does hold some kind of sway a little bit, but but comics are the main form into which we are ranking all these characters. Let's get right into it. Let's start with Lagan. Lagan is from Atlantis. He has been a member of Young Justice for a while, and Lagan is a D character for me. Yeah, just I don't have any kind of feeling about Lagan really whatsoever.
Barely aware.
Truthfully, if it wasn't for Young Justice, I probably wouldn't.
Probably IDK.
But it would probably be IDK. Yeah, I agree. Larfleeze.
Larfleeze is at minimum a C.
I don't think it's any better than a C, truthfully.
Not better than a C. But I also think not worse than a C.
Nope. Yeah, I think Larfleeze is. I think he had his moment in the sun.
Yes,
and he did what he was supposed to do. Orange Lantern for oh gosh, what do they call it? Not gluttony. Avarice.
Avarice.
Yeah, and and that was there he goes. Okay, see you later.
Yes, that's Larfleeze.
Yep,
there he is.
See you later.
Mine.
Yeah, truthfully, he might not be a C. Like,
okay.
Do we really want to stick him with Adam Strange?
I mean, Saint Walker is a C.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of Atrocitus is a C. Like, they're kind of.
But Freddie Freeman is a D, and at least he has some like comic history.
Yeah, but
about him. Nah. Keep him where he is.
Christopher Chance has a comic history too.
Good point. Yeah. All right. Keep him where he is. Keep him in that C. Larry Trainer, Negative Man from Doom Patrol. I confess I'm not a huge Doom Patrol fan.
Yeah, nor am
I from comics it's almost nil. So my exposure is really only the show. And so I'm gonna say almost in fairness, like IDK.
IDK, yeah.
Yeah. Like I just I liked the bits of that Matt Bomer on the show, but that's not really the comic. So I'm going to say IDK.
Leonard Snart.
Uh-oh, here comes trouble. Captain Cold himself with his funky glasses.
Yeah.
Really like Captain Cold. I'm weirdly excited when he shows up in The Flash. More than the other rogues. He's my favorite rogue. Of like that, the like robber.
Yeah,
like not talking like Reverse Flash or anything like that. But as far as like the group that call themselves the Rogues, he's my favorite.
Yep.
And
yeah, I guess he probably is mine as well. Come to think of it,
I want to say he's a B.
well. I mean, apart from Reverse Flash, really. I mean, yeah,
sure, but he's not really of the Rogues. He's like he does his own separate thing. He's in the Rogues Gallery.
He's in the Rogues Gallery, but he's not. Yeah,
he is not a member of the Rogues.
Lowercase R Rogue. He is, but.
Correct.
Not a capital R. Yeah.
Exactly.
But we're not talking about the letter R. We're talking about which tier is he? And I hope he's on an R tier. I think
that to me he's a B.
A B, right? Yeah.
If Guy Gardner is a B, Captain Cold is a B.
Yeah, that seems absolutely fair. That seems absolutely fair. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Leslie Willis.
Livewire. Originated in the animated series.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Livewire is a whatever for me.
Yeah.
I just it's like great that she was on the animated series. It was definitely a like let's do Harley again.
Kinda, yeah.
Rock instead, and which is fine. But if I never saw her again, I might not notice.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So she's a C for me. But I would be comfortable with a B.
I would yeah, it's tough because I kind of would go for a B, but then again, I wouldn't put her at the same level as Cassie or Carol Ferris. So maybe she is a C. Maybe she's for me. She's sort of at the upper echelon of the C tier, if you will, because she's got some. I guess because she's a character that made the jump from animation to comics, to other incarnations as well. I just think that's
impressive.
That's cool.
And so maybe bump her up a little bit.
So that's why to me it's like the upper echelon of the C tier
character. Okay, I'll give you that. All right, bump her to a B then. She
had the staying power to jump, multiple formats.
All right, give her a B. give her a good
All
old
right.
B then. That's
Give her
fine.
a B.
Coming up next, Lex Luthor is in the
Yep.
house. Lex Luthor, he's an S tier character.
The
Let's
big
not
LL,
think
absolutely S tier, no question about that.
Yeah, no, yeah, there's
Absolutely S tier, yeah.
Like in fact, make me an argument for why he's not.
Yeah, right. Like, let's see. What if I were to argue? What would it be? It would be that he's I have to steel man an argument I really don't agree with. He's always losing. It's been 70 years or whatever, and he's never he always ends up on the losing side. No, that's a bad argument. Can you make a good argument for why Lex Luthor is not S tier? I don't know that you can. I don't know that any for legacy alone puts him in that in that tier.
I agree. S tier. Lobo up next. Lobo's a B for me.
Lobo's a B. Lobo could be an A, honestly, but you're probably right. He averages out to a B. You're the teacher. You're better at grading these things.
Yeah, he's I've seen moments where he could be an A, but he's just not, like, I don't know. Lobo,
Brad Garrett's performance as Lobo is an A.
Sure.
No
Absolutely.
question.
Yes. Yeah. I forgot it was Brad Garrett.
Such a perfect voice for that character. Like forever the voice that I will hear whenever I read. I mean, he's in Superman comics right now, and that's what I'm hearing when I read it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Lois Lane,
also an S tier character.
Absolutely.
Like bump out other ST characters to make way for Lois Lane. That's
I would. If I had to, I would. But you know what? We don't have to. We make the rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And again, make me an argument for why she's not.
The thing that our friend Derek is so fond of pointing out so often is that Action Comics #1 is also the first appearance of Lois Lane.
Right.
She's been there since the very beginning, and she is as essential to the story to get her right as Clark himself is. So, like, yeah, absolutely, she is S. If Clark's an S tier, she's an S tier.
Absolutely. Lorraine Riley is up next. Firehawk is her superhero name. The only story that I can think of that I know Firehawk from is the beginning of Identity Crisis, right, where she's hanging out. I'm pretty sure that's her that's hanging out with the Elongated Man on the roof.
Okay.
So to me, it's basically IDK, but if not, it's a D.
Yeah, I would not have remembered who that was on the roof with him. Like as like the rookie who's with him.
Pretty sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that would be it's an IDK for me, honestly. Okay. But is your argument that if it wasn't for that, because from that, you'd put her at a D? Or
because I happen to know her from that, but
I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
But I
love Identity Crisis.
Yeah, but now I'm like second guessing myself. Is that no? I think no, that's her on the roof. Almost positive.
Should we use a lookup? I'll use mine.
Yeah, no, I'll do it. It's okay. I've already got her page open, so I can.
Okay, fair enough.
Let me see.
Yeah, because if that is indeed her, that totally I think warrants a D. That brings her one step out of obscurity, right? That's a.
Yep, no, it's definitely her. I was right.
Cool. Right on.
Okay, well, that I do feel better about.
Yeah.
I pulled that from.
Well done.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Lucius Fox.
Lucius Fox.
This might be slightly controversial, but I think Lucius Fox is a C character.
Whoa. Yeah. That is not what I expected you to say.
I think he was a C character before Morgan Freeman was cast as him, and he was in Batman Begins.
Okay.
And then The Dark Knight and stuff. But and they certainly elevated him in that sense, but I don't think in the comics he's ever really risen to the heights of Morgan Freeman.
That's very fair. That is more than fair.
Yeah, not that he hasn't been important in some way or another, but I don't think he's any more or less important than Kilowog.
Sure.
You know?
Yep. No, that's fair. And to take the long view of the character, that makes sense. Like, yeah, his the one portrayal that everyone identifies with so much in Morgan Freeman, and the exposure that gave the character, I think, probably is skewing my opinion too. But yeah, when you take that zoomed out view of like the full history of the character, well, most of that is in comics, and is not quite as impressive. And that's more because he's underutilized.
Totally.
Than anything. What do you think about Luke Fox?
About the same.
Yeah.
You could make an argument for a B maybe, but I think he's a character that they struggled to use a lot, and for him to like find a common thread and identity and a sticking place. And because of that, I'd put him at a C.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fair. That I feel Lucius Fox I want to kind of bump up to like a B maybe, but Luke Fox I'm like, no, C feels good. That feels absolutely right. Lila from Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Would you give her a C because of Crisis on Infinite Earths? But besides that, like
pretty much. I mean, that's basically all she's in. I mean, I'm sure she's made other appearances, but
she was definitely in Superman, Batman, Supergirl. Pretty sure she was in that.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. She was, wasn't she?
Yep. But like, it's very few and far between.
Yeah.
So I'll say C.
So yeah, I think she's a C character, and it's, her big appearance is one of the most consequential things, in all of comics and all of DC comics, certainly. But yeah, Lila Michaels, Harbinger. Of course, she did make the jump to live action.
That's true. I don't know. I still wouldn't.
No, that's fine. I'm not.
People I have been in live action that are in D.
I know. I'm not saying it that automatically bumps her out. I was just a little bit of trivia.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Malcolm Duncan, Vox. I know absolutely nothing about except that he was also in Young Justice, and he was the Guardian in that. He was like the second Guardian.
Oh,
I don't really know anything about him, so I'm going to say IDK for Malcolm Duncan.
Sure. Yeah, I know less than you know, so absolutely that's an IDK for me. Mari McCabe.
Vixen.
I have not seen Vixen in a while. I'm probably not reading the right books, but it just occurs to me I haven't seen that character in quite a while.
I feel like I just saw her in something. Now I can't remember. It might have been Justice League Unlimited. She might have been in the background. Because so many of them are in the background. As far as a main player is concerned, yeah, it's been a while since she's been a main player. But like you said, like she's been, multiple actresses have portrayed her in live action. She's had her own animated show.
Yeah.
Technically. I want to say B, but I'd be fine if you put her at a C.
No, I think B. I think she's a B character. She can carry a show. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't give a show to a C character, right? Like if you're at
not
that,
historically true, but I understand what you mean.
Well, all right, fair, very fair. But
see, Legends of Tomorrow,
one ought not give a show to a C character, but but you also shouldn't give a movie to Iron Man,
and voila, there he is, right? Everyone knows his name, so yep, B for
Martin Stein.
I dislike Firestorm.
Yeah.
Like you just, as far as Firestorm goes, he's one half of Firestorm. I don't really care. It could be a D. I'd be fine with a C.
Where did we
Where did we put the other Firestorm character?
That's what I want to know.
I think if we put the other Firestorm characters at the same level, then yep, Jason Rush is a D character, Firestorm, all the way down.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. You fought for that one. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't have a strong opinion on Firestorm. I probably said this at the time. So, like, yeah, that's fine with me. Put him right next to between Jason Rush and Jim Harper. Mary Bromfeld. Mary Marvel.
Miss Mary Marvel. Mary Marvel. I love Mary Marvel. She has carried her own book several times.
Yep.
Like she is live action movies. So I'd say she's not an A character though. Like I would never look at Mary Marvel and be like, yes, you're Hal Jordan.
Correct.
Like
I agreed. Right. I would.
That's not the same for me. So I'm going to say she's a B character.
Yeah. A strong B.
A strong B, but she's a B. A B, she's a B plus.
Yeah. Maxine Hunkel.
Maxine Hunkel, member of the JSA. Ma Hunkel, the original Red Tornado, was her grandmother, if I'm not mistaken. And when that Red Tornado was just a middle-aged mom wearing a pot over her head, fighting crime. Amazing. Comics are an amazing thing. It's just I say she's ridiculous. A C character.
C character, yeah. I feel like that feels about right. I think it's on par with Lila.
Yeah, you could probably make an argument for a D character, but I do like the JSA and I do like her. So from like a personal point, I think I'd put her at a C.
No, that works for me. Yeah. Artemis, Oricia, yeah, that'll work for me. Maxwell Lord. Okay, this one could be. I could see Maxwell Lord going at.
You think an A?
I think he could be an A. I don't know. What do you think? I lean towards he's like an A minus, right? But is it an A minus or B plus?
I don't know. Like I think that he waxes and wanes in importance. Like sometimes he's been a mainstay in comics for decades. And he has been very important, and he has like certainly fallen by the wayside quite a bit too. So I'm not positive. I don't know. I think A feels strong. Like it maybe feels too strong. Are we saying Maxwell Lord is of the same crop variety as Zod? Or Eobard Thawne, or try looking for other villains, or the Riddler. Like, do you think that Maxwell Lord is the same as the Riddler, or Zod, or Darkseid?
The thing is his importance to the Justice League, his importance to the events of Infinite Crisis are the thing that cloud my judgment. Because I know that was a particularly formative time for you and me, but when I look at the long lens and the long arc of the character, he is, who did we just say this about a few minutes ago? That it's sort of like, I guess like Lila or even Leslie Willis, that it's like, we have this one thing that we really identify with or imprinted on for that character, but really in the bigger picture, Maxwell Lord is I guess I'll go with the B plus side of that equation.
Yeah, I think he's a B plus.
Yeah,
but that means he's a B. He's a strong B, but he's a B.
He's a B. Yeah, strong B. We got a string of better known ones here now. M we said L was good, but M doesn't mess around either.
Nope.
Mara, you could argue Mara into an A.
You could argue her into an A, I think. Yeah, I don't think she's a natural A, but you could argue her into there, and I would be comfortable with that argument.
Yeah. Again, I think it's an A- B+ situation. But I think I might err on the side of A+, A-, for Mara. I think.
All right, well, let's do that. I think that she has grown in importance over the years, and I think her constant presence is an important aspect of her case. She doesn't come in and out. It's not like, oh, where did Mara go? I haven't seen her in several years. I mean, she's just kind of always there, and so I'll give her the A for that.
Yeah, she's an important character and has a exactly an influence. Magan, I feel like is kind of a Kate Kane or a Karen Starr, in terms of
supporting player.
Yeah, supporting player. Yep. Like I like it when they have her step up more. But
I don't know if she has the depth of some of our B characters.
Yeah.
I like her, but I actually would. I think I'm more comfortable with her as a C.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. Yeah. Apart from Young Justice, I don't know how much she carries on her own.
Right.
And the C is there's still good characters in there.
There's still some very good characters in here.
Yeah. But I just I say C.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Mia Dearden, Speedy,
Arrowette, many other things. I'm gonna also say C for Mia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's anything stronger than that.
I think that actually feels pretty down the middle for me. Michael Carter, Booster Gold.
Booster Gold. I don't have strong feelings about
Booster
Gold. But I'm not going to let that cloud my judgment. I think Booster Gold is probably a B character. If you take my actual, like, he's actually a B character.
Yeah,
that's annoying, but he's a B.
Sure. He's a very fun character. His stories are always very fun. He's a funny character. I enjoy him a lot. I think B feels very appropriate. It's one of those things that, like, I didn't expect to really care for the character much at all, but the sense of humor and the dynamic with Skeets always makes me laugh. So I'd put him at B. Michael Holt,
Mr.
Terrific.
Mr. Terrific's an A character for me. I'm going to throw that out there.
I think that's right. I'm very, as we're recording this, we have not yet seen James Gunn's Superman, but I'm very excited to see Mr. Terrific in that film. From what we've been shown in trailers and stuff. But the comics are my main reference point for Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, I think he's a really versatile character. You can stick him in a lot of different places, and he can do a lot. Yeah, I like Mr. Terrific a lot. That's an A. He's an A for me.
T-spheres are weird, though. It's a weird.
You think so?
They're kind of. I mean, they're weird, not in a bad way. They're weird, like, Silver Age sci-fi weird.
Totally, but I'm fine with that. Oh, good. But I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
there's this silver ball with a T on it. It does things. Yeah,
yeah.
You know how it does things. It just does them.
It just don't ask too many questions.
Yeah, totally. Yep.
Mick Rory. Speaking of rogues,
Mick's not as important to me as Leonard. Like, I think the Flash show in Legends of Tomorrow made him a more well-versed breadth of an interesting character, but Mick himself from the comics is just He's a
He's
guy.
fine.
He definitely has background and whatever, but like I think makes a C.
Yeah, I think that feels fair. To make it a C, yeah. I think kind of most of. Well, no, I take that back. I was about to say maybe most of the rogues are C's, but no. Well,
no, Leonard Snart is a B, I think.
Well,
but I think you're right. I think that's kind of the point of the rogues, though. That they are kind of losers.
Yeah,
and
right.
Only together do they like become a B?
Right.
Basically. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Midnighter.
So let's wrap up the M's and then call it a day.
Agreed. Yes.
Okay. Midnighter. From the Authority. I really like Midnighter. He's a good character, interesting background. Like you think he's just street Batman, but he's really not. So I'd put him at he's like a strong B+, weak A- to me.
Okay, got it.
So, but ultimately, I probably would lean more towards B just because he's not a constant presence in comics the way that, like, I don't know, some of the members of the JSA, Jimmy Olsen, John Stewart, like, Black Canary, Supergirl. Like, I don't know if I'd put him at their level.
Okay,
I think he couldn't fight at their level and even take That's not really the point of this conversation. So, I put him at a B.
Nice. Okay, that makes sense. I'm good with that. I've not read it, so I don't have any. New York abstains courteously.
Courteously, yeah.
Courteously. Mikhail Arkadin? Arkadin?
I don't know. Either way, he's a Firestorm, but I don't know him, so I'm going to give him an IDK. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's also don't know. It's a Firestorm related, and
but that's all I got. I also don't know Minkoa Khan. I don't think
that is Ghostmaker. It's a Batman character.
That's why
he was very active in the comics for several years. Led his own team with his own title. Was a member of was adjacent to the League of Batman. You remember the Grant Morrison thing?
Oh, so this is relatively recent.
Yeah, well, that League of Batman thing was just a couple of years ago. I'm not talking when Grant Morrison was actually writing it. James Tynion was writing.
Yeah, Batman.
Okay. So it is really recent. He was a cool character. He basically trained with Bruce, like when Bruce was a kid going around the world becoming Batman. He was also going around the world and doing his version of it. Truthfully, he made an actual impression on me. I'd throw him a B, but I'd also be comfortable with a C. But yeah, I'd actually throw him a B.
Throw him in the B. Put him right there next to Midnighter.
Next to
Give me those.
Right on.
Give me those. That's another thing about Batman. His rogues kind of average out at a B for a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Flash, his characters, his rogues kind of average out at a C. It's interesting. That's the difference between when you're an S tier. I guess your rogues for good equilibrium. Your rogues need to be 2 tiers below you. I think it's what we've figured out here.
Yep, that's actually pretty accurate. Yep, yeah. If you're an S tier, your you have to be supported by A tier characters, but then your rogues are generally A or B tier.
Right.
Yeah. If it's a C tier, it's not an interesting story.
Right. That's why C tiers don't get shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
All connects. But the big exception to this is Clark Kent and Lex Luthor are both S tiers.
Sure, but Lex has the relationship they have is beyond just villain and hero.
It transcends.
It's their relationship is not Superman and Livewire, So
right, yes.
So, yeah, but you're right, and I think we'll get there with other Batman characters too. Because
true, I think that yes,
yeah,
I think that's true. Yeah.
Mongal, not to be confused with Mongol, who's coming up next. Mongal is a D character.
Yeah.
F is reserved purely for hatred. So
yes.
I can't say I hate her, but she's definitely just a D character.
Yeah.
Mongol, on the other hand.
Yeah, Mongol.
You could make an argument for he's an A villain.
Yes, you could. Yes, you absolutely could. I think you can make a very convincing argument of that.
Yeah, I think he's one of those, like, he's an A minus B plus villains. So I don't know. Is he is Mongol Two-Face or Eobard Thawne? I'm gonna say he's not. Looking. Is he Zod? I don't know.
To me, no. Actually,
I don't know.
I think I may be the exception. I'm not the biggest Mongol fan. He's just sort of like mini Darkseid to me.
Sure.
So like I don't dislike a Mongol story, but doesn't do a ton for me. I don't know. So for me, it's like, yeah, if it's I would go more on the B plus side of the divide. But if you feel like you're the vote that sort of pushes it over the edge to A minus, I'm good with that.
No, B's fine. Yeah, It's a real weak A minus. So
okay,
yeah, B's fine. Because I mean, like, we have Bane at a B, who has some incredible stories.
Yes, true.
And like, it's like, and you could make a strong argument that Bane is actually an A minus character. So so I'd be comfortable with Mongol being kind of at that level.
All right, that seems fair. Two more. Monitor.
Yeah, which is the Monitor. He's the picture they chose is on, but it's technically
okay.
A couple of that's the Grant Morrison kind of duo.
Got it.
Monitor,
okay.
But
okay.
C
character. Again, it's one of those, like, because when used, very, very highly impactful, but very rarely used. I think that I put him in B, but I meant to put him in C. I think kind of goes along with the Lila of it all.
Yep, I agree.
Marina
is Grail's mother, the Amazon that birthed Grail for Darkseid.
Okay,
that's a D character. Even I could even go as far as IDK, because like what I told you is all I can tell you.
Right. Okay. Well, that's just sort of plops to an end, doesn't it? That brings to the end of the ends, and we just sort of putter.
Yeah, I mean, we could go into the ends, which isn't very large, but it's good. That one is also going to putter to the end.
It really will. Yeah, it's not.
It'll also putter.
It's not going to get better. That's fine. We are making a meal of this tier list situation, and if I encourage you to watch these in particular on YouTube. Most of the time we're really going for audio first. Largely speaking, but this is one that probably helps to watch the YouTube version of it. So I encourage you to check that out. I mean, I guess I'll just roll into plugs. We got beerwithgeeks.com is where you can find the show. You can rate and review us anywhere that you get your podcasts, as well as like and subscribe on YouTube. And you can support us at patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio to throw us a couple shekels and help us keep doing this thing.
Shekels. That's a blast from the past for sure. Frank, it's always a pleasure talking to you. So until next time, cheers.
Cheers.